with Juhl at dinner. Today got away with me. We were out scoping out new venues for events, and I just lost all control of time in my day. But I have a good message for you. I help entrepreneurs and creatives to show up big and connect with their people. And as you know, we are all bosses. We have boss businesses. And what does that mean? Branded, organized, sustainable, and success minded. We're success minded. So today is Thursday. So on Thursday, we talk about success minded. And I have a guy who I listen to. And the question really is, what is the level of intensity that is really needed for your business? For you to grow your business, what level of intensity do you operate in? And so I listen to a guy. This is one of my favorite teachers, a guy by the name of Stuart Wilde. He's old and he's dead, but you can find his stuff on YouTube. And he has a course. It's called the Mastery of Money course. It's really good. If you get a chance to listen to it, then definitely do. So in there, he gives this analogy. He goes through this whole elaborate breakdown of how the world works and how there are some, everything that we do is controlled by, a certain group of people who, control different things like prices, blah, 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 a lot of that detail. So what he says is that, you can try to buck up against the system and say, hey, this isn't right. I don't like how things go, blah, blah, blah. But it's going to take a lot of energy and it's not really going to get you what you want. So he says the only way to really be able to succeed and to be happy in this environment and raise your level of vibration and hence your level of energy is to rise above it. And so he talks about the level of intensity that's necessary for you to rise above it. Now, at first, I was a little conflicted with this analogy because I also listen to a lot of Abraham Hicks. And from that perspective, it's like, you do work, but you do inspired work. So in other words, we don't just go off and start doing a bunch of stuff just to be busy. We connect with ourselves and then we identify that level or that focus of action that's needed to keep us on our path, right? And then I found a way that they come together in the sense that once you have connected with self and you understand what direction you're headed in, then the level of intensity at which you kind of indulge into that is what he's talking about, what we're calling swamp thing intensity. Swamp thing intensity. Why? Because he gives this analogy of imagine that you're in the middle of the ocean and there's this, you fall into the water and there's this big monster, this swamp thing that is underneath the water, and the swamp thing grabs you by the ankle and yanks you underneath the water. Okay, where you're underneath the water, you can't breathe. Okay, the swamp thing has you by the ankle and has pulled you underneath the water. So what do? How do you respond? How would you respond? How hard would you fight to pull your way free? How hard would you fight to breathe again? Right? I've heard some motivational speakers say, I think it might have been Eric Thomas, not my jam, but he says things that make sense. He says, you got to want it like you want to breathe. Well, it's like you gotta be having the level of intensity as if the swamp thing was holding you by the ankle, yanked you underneath water, and you need to breathe. That's the level of intensity that you need to operate in. Now, I have to admit, I don't always operate in that level of intensity. In fact, I would dare say that I probably, I go in spurts. There's some times where I have a ton of energy, and there's some times when I don't. But the thing is that, in the times that I have a lot of energy, I have to do the things that I need to do based on my focus at the level of intensity, like the swamp thing. I'm trying to get away from the swamp thing yanking me under the water, right? You follow me? So, but I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs, especially if it's stuff you don't want to do, right? You're just like, there's some stuff, I'm sorry, I just don't want to do it. I don't like it. It's not my jam. Okay, I just don't want to do it. But in order to focus on your business, you have to do that. Now, two things about the swamp thing analogy that I wanted to point out and emphasize. One is focus, right? So a lot of times as an entrepreneur, there's so many things that need to be done. There's so many things you need to focus on that the tendency is to be all over the place. You're all over all over the place. Oh, I got to do financial stuff over here. Oh, I got to, I got a new website to build. Oh, I got some graphic design. Oh, I did da, 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 da. So we have to have systems and processes like we talked about yesterday or day before yesterday. But there needs to be focused activity. So recently, I narrowed down the scope of my offerings for purposes of marketing to a specific thing, to a specific product. Why? So I can focus. So if you are being held underwater by a swamp thing, you have extreme focus, and your focus is get away and breathe again, right? So the level of intensity has to be focused intensity, not just you busy doing stuff and you're moving things around. No, focused intensity on the thing that is going to move you up next to the next spot on the rung of the ladder to your success. That's the level. That's what you need to focus on. So the first thing was the focus, that is focused activity. The second thing is it is intense activity. In other words, everything that you need to do, everything that you know you need to do, everything that you can do, you do. And so I think that comes with, again, being organized, because if I have this list of things that I keep, these are the things that I know I need to do, and I put them in order of priority, and I've got time that I'm going to that list like, boom, okay, need to do this, boom, need to do that. Now, I understand more than you know that you're not always in complete control of your list, right? You have others who come in and they interact with you, and they want things, they ask you for things, they expect things. And so sometimes that can affect your ability to attack the things that are on your list, but you have to learn how to manage and control that. And so we'll talk about that next week on our organize. We'll talk about ways to do that. But the point is that in terms of being able to be effective and having a success mindset is focused with intensity in the direction of the thing that you want to accomplish. So in our swamp thing, intensity is, I need to breathe again. I need to get away from this thing and breathe, right? So you need to have that level of intensity. And then it's like, I don't care what I need to do, how fast I need to move, how hard I need to yank. I'm about to do it because I must breathe again, right? So anyway, so I hope that is helpful for you. I know it was helpful for me to just kind of reflect on that today. And if it was helpful for you, then definitely share the video. I love when people share my video. And I will talk to you next time on Lunch with Juhl. Bye for now.